Hello, and welcome back to another development log of Frogger Rivals. We're excited to show you what progress we made in the past 2 weeks. So, let's get started. As you may have noticed, last week the animations weren't lining up that well, so over the past 2 weeks, I've gone ahead and polished them up as I've noticed the transitions messing up. So, you'll notice as the player moves that they will move with a lot more fluid motion. The next big thing I wanted to work on was aiming. I started by getting the camera to project an empty game object in front of it at all times to give the player coordinates to look at. Next, I gave the player a simple mechanic called inverse kinematics that allowed them to dynamically aim at the target whenever they wanted to. Now, all these are great features, but what I really wanted to fine-tune was the movement. How I was moving previously was more or less like a person walking and much less like a rat on a skateboard. So, after a lot of tweaking with the code, I made him move like a skateboard. The only thing left to do with the movement is to tackle acceleration and just overall speed mechanics, but we'll get to that when the grinding gets implemented. Speaking of grinding, I wanted to get that code done this week, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to achieve that feat. Though next time I will surely have that done, so stay tuned. However, I have learned a lot about splines and how I can procedurally place prefabs in the scene with little effort. That's about all I did this week, so let's check in with Patrick's side of things.
Hi, I'm Patrick. So this week was a bit mixed for me in many ways. On one hand, I got sick in the middle of the week, and that got in the way of me doing a lot of work for this and other projects. But on the other hand, the fact that it had left me bound at home with nothing to do meant I actually had like a whole free weekend effectively just to work on this, which was great. Firstly, I did some work on UI in trying to create art for a speedometer gauge. William had this cool idea to make the gauge look like it had been built out of a bunch of spare parts out of a junkyard or something. So I got to work first on a draft where I took a bunch of stuff from Google Images and we tried to figure out what worked and what didn't. The frisbee and the toothpick I had chosen, those felt too much like an arts and crafts classroom, whereas we wanted something to feel more like urban, like something you'd find in a junkyard. So I replaced the frisbee with a hubcap and the popsicle stick with a screwdriver and went to work on a final. Now I haven't finished the final yet because my illness got in the way a bit, but I was able to get some fairly good progress done over this weekend. I have the hubcap done, the screwdriver done, the pedometer loosely started, and hopefully by early next week I'd like to have the pedometer finished and then any detail work done. So like tape to make it look like it's held together, notches on the drawn onto the hubcap to tell you how fast you're going and stuff. And yeah, so this is in progress, but I'm liking how it's coming. I also spent a lot of time this week rebuilding the guardrails on the bridge. See, the original bridge model had these very nice curves on them, as real suspension bridges do, and I didn't think much of them. I thought they were a relatively cool detail, even if they meant a little bit more work on my end in placing the guardrails. Turns out, though, they meant quite a bit more than just a little bit more work when it came to William's end. So we ended up having to take the bridge model into Blender and straightening it, which meant I had to rebuild then the guardrails along the bridge. But fortunately, now that the bridge was straight, this was a lot easier to do. And now I'm spending a lot of time working on the traffic AI. And so my plan going forward this Sunday and however much time I need after that is to actually get the car AI script and the script that's going to be on the traffic controller working.
Well, that's it for this week. Next time, we'll have to work more on grinding and acceleration, so keep a lookout for that, Devlog. Taking it care. Well, that's it for this devlog. Next time, we'll have to work more on grinding and acceleration, so keep a lookout for that one. Take care now.